welcome to another episode of Old Fiddles New Life. I'm going to have to. This is a re-recording, by the way, because when I did the first one, I was still sick as a dog, and it sounded like I was going to die. So my wife made me go back and re-record this. Anyway, about 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were at an antiques mall up in Vermont. I'm down on the Cape at the moment, and we were walking along, and I noticed this little violin down on the floor with the case open. They're trying to attract, people to look at it. And I glanced down, and Sharon said, "Is that something you'd be interested in?" I said, I don't know. So, but I picked it up and I looked at it, and then I saw the price tag. It was only $25. Are you kidding me? And what it was a little quarter-size violin. Well, it's pretty ironic because my grandson has been asking about learning to play violin lately, and he's only 6 years old. So the size was right. And so I picked it up and I looked at it and I said, yeah, I'll do $25 all day long. And I've now added to my collection of different size violins. I've got full size, three-quarter size, a single half size, which needs desperate overhaul. And now I've got a little quarter size violin. And so anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my original footage now of what I shot right after I did that initial opening segment where I was coughing my lungs out. When my wife heard it, she just started laughing her head off. She says, no, you don't do that. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to shut up and go back to my original recording of showing you the violin and the case and so on and so forth. But yeah, I was just coming off from some serious days of flu and hacking cough and everything. So I will spare you that. And this gets you into the episode a little more, not feeling like you're going to catch the flu just from watching the video. All right, thanks. We'll see you in a minute. Well, right off the bat, this case is a modern case. It's got some things that's got to be worked on, but not bad. Like I said, I paid $35 for everything. This looks like a quarter-size bow. I don't think it's, I think it's the right size. At least it fits the case, and that they're usually, have an appropriate size. They've done all kinds of wacky things to it. They got little, looks like toe bandages or some such thing on them, and it's been set up for student work because these are your finger positions. But anyway, it is a cheap violin. There's no doubt about it. It is. Let's see, what do they call it here? Handcrafted in China. Okay, it's a Prima. Let's see, I'm trying to read it. Violmaster by Violmaster, handcrafted in China. Quarter size, says it right there, quarter size. But had extremely cheap, bad varnish. The chipping all over the place. All these little chips. I don't know if you can. Yeah, here we go. See that? And it's just a cheap varnish. Even up here on the scroll, you can see it's just chipping off the edges and so forth. You know what? You don't need perfect varnish to be playable and useful. In the first place, the main thing that you're concerned about with a violin this size is that you get the kid used to putting his fingers where they belong and learning how to draw a bow. And this certainly will get the job done. I'm going to have new strings. I think these pegs are in pretty good shape from what I can tell. So I may not need new pegs. Bridge looks good. I'll be able to tell more later when I go through and do a complete analysis on it. But for right now, got a nice little tailpiece with all tuners across the board. Chin rest looks good. Hey, not bad. $35. I'll go there all day long. I can't believe how chippy this varnish is. I think you just tap on it, it'll probably chip. But anyway, one of the first things I'm going to do is get the strings and everything off from it and clean down this neck, get all this tape off. And if a violin teacher in the future wants to set it up for that, fine. but that's not the way I do things. When I get an instrument, I take it right back to original condition, and that's going to be my objective. So anyway, I can't complain for 35 bucks. Yeah, and I think we're good to go. As far as the bow is concerned, decent little bow. Still has good camber to it. Okay, camber is the amount of curvature in here. A lot of violin bows, when kids are using them because they're not taught properly, they'll leave the thing at full tension. And especially with a Pernambuco bow, or some Brazil wood or something like that, if they leave it on there for a long time, it completely kills the curve in that bow and it makes it useless. So anyway, I'm gonna have to get out my rehairing skills and get some nice fresh horsehair and rehair this bow. I haven't done it in probably 15 or 20 years. I haven't done a rehair. I used to do a lot of them back when I had my what do they call it, Cornhill Fiddleworks. I was doing a lot of that was my little out of my bedroom business that I had going back in the day. And anyway, all right, well, that's it. A little quarter size violin for 35 bucks. Not bad. And I'm going to get to work. We'll maybe document a little bit of this as we go. Hello, this is a violin teacher's method. You can see where they reach down between the strings of the pencil and inscribed in there G, D, A, E. And that way, every time a child is looking up the length of the violin, what are they looking at? They're looking at what strings they're putting their fingers down on. Really good learning method there. And you know what? I'm convinced. I know it is. This has got to be the original bridge for this violin, because it's Prima, and that's the brand name on it. I don't think they did this at the factory. You look at where those the angle of those, that shows that the violin teacher did that down through the strings coming off the back of the bridge. But anyway, yeah, it's a good method. I never thought of it. Of course, I've never taught anybody from scratch the way that a beginning violin teacher does. But one more thing before we go on. This looks like some kid has been eating candy and getting his fingers all of it. I mean, it is filthy on top. Yeah. Kid's violin. Okay, I got to get back to work. I'm going to get all this junk stripped off of here and do some cleaning. All right, well, I'm using the cleaner that I've talked about on several of my videos, and getting all this crud off from here. I first of all stripped all those finger position tapes off, and using some steel wool, which certainly does not hurt the ebony here. It helps to liberate it from all that gook. And my violin polish has a cleansers that will cut the adhesives that are now stick them right down onto the fingerboard. Sorry, I can't talk and work at the same time, which is, at least for the moment. When you've been sick for 3 days with the flu, it kind of does a number on you. Nothing drives me crazier than not being able to get anything done. This is one of the things I was determined to do once I started getting my motivation back. Man. I'm sure that's probably standard procedure for violin teachers to put those tapes on to teach their students their finger positions, but sure makes a mess out of the fingerboard and the neck. There's all kinds of crap on the back of the neck here, all this sticky stuff. Anyway, it's coming. It's coming off very nicely. Thank you. It's good. And I'm gonna, as soon as I get this neck cleaned up, I've got to get working on the top, because that top is a mess. Like I said, it looks like some kid was eating a candy bar and handling the instrument all over without ever doing anything to clean it. I'd be curious to know how long it takes for them to build one of these cheapy violins in China. I'm sure they probably have it down to a science and can do it in a couple of hours or something like that. Anyway, whatever. Okay, that's pretty much. Here's another glop I missed. And again, with these little violins, I'm sure that they make good sounding ones somewhere. But honestly, the whole point of the beginner violin teaching is to get kids at a very, very early age and teach them the basics, of, like I said, where to put their fingers and how to draw the bow across the strings and get the sound and get something as close as possible to, a melody out of it, supposedly. So anyway, okay, well, I'm going to shut this off for a minute and I've got to do some other cleanup here. I'll be back. All right, well, the neck is pretty much done. I'm going to move on to the top. One of the things I noticed immediately when I opened the case was that this shows the signs of a student who obviously just never cleaned the instrument. I mean, what you see here, and you can almost, it's not crystallization, I don't know what to call it, but there's a buildup of rosin, undusted rosin on the end of the fingerboard here because, as a student he rosins his bow and he, starts drawing and playing and so forth. And if that rosin never gets dusted off, you can really see the buildup of it. And I don't know if you can see that. Probably you can't. But anyway, I can see it from my vantage point here, and that's all got to be clean, and then I got to move on to the top. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see that. That's just one side. That's just the E side of the violin on the front half of it. That's how much crud was on it. Anyway, like I said, some kid eating a candy bar, I guess, but I got to keep doing on this and finish cleaning this top. What a mess. Oh well. Yeah, I got to take this chin rest off too. That's would not be an adequate job if I didn't take the chin rest off. But I'll wait until I'm done with this that I'm doing right now. Look at this. Look at this. Wow. Look how much crud came off the top of that instrument. That's amazing. Oh well. Hey, it's a student instrument. What can I say? And kids just don't take care of things the same way. And although I would think that any good music teacher would try to teach them, and that doesn't mean they're always going to be conscientious about it, but any good music teacher probably would teach their student about maintaining their instrument, something as special as a violin. So, all right, top is pretty much done. I could probably go back for round two and probably will, but as of right now, that's much better than it was. And I'm going to get this tailpiece off, and not tailpiece, this chin rest off, and continue from there. Well, I took the chin rest off, and it looks like at some point the cork started coming undone, and they stuck glue up underneath there. It's all over the bottom of the cork, and it's all over the top of the instrument. So, yeah, well, it's a simple solution, I guess. Look at it. It's even running up onto this like, man a-living. Whatever. I'll just have to replace that, clean that. That looks like violin polish of some sort that somebody attempted to use at some point. But anyway, I got a bunch of cleaning to do here. It's going to take me a while. Well, I finally managed to get all the massive amount of glue and old cork scraped off from this and all worked up. So it's ready to receive a new padding that'll go down on the top of the instrument here. What I've been doing recently, because I don't have any cork, but you don't need it. because felt works just as well. And I'm going to, especially where I'm going to be felting both this bottom, the crimping part, and up here. And when I completely did over my daughter's piano, I did brand new felting on the inside of the piano, and this is the stuff I bought. I've got a truckload of this stuff, and you can see I've already cut out a few felt pads from this piece a while ago, and so I'm going to just cut out a nice piece, and I'll lay it down flat, and I'll trace it and cut it out so it precisely fits here, and then I'll glue it down, and then I'll do the same on this. And so anyway, yep, we'll be all done with that, and it's just one less project to get this little quarter-size violin up and running. Well, the old violin is completely cleaned, looking good, and I finished the felting on the chin rest. That came out good. And so my next step is to order parts tomorrow, and I'm going to need strings, quarter-size strings. I'm going to need, what else? What else should we say? Oh, a bow hair for my for the violin bow that came with it, and I'm going to need some rosin, some powdered rosin, and I have always ordered through Metropolitan Music up in Stowe, Vermont. I've been ordering through them for decades, and they are so fast. Get the stuff down to me. I understand now they're no longer their headquarters there, but I think their warehouse is somewhere down in New York or something. But I'm going to call them tomorrow and see what they've got. And in the meantime, I have found stuff on Amazon just now. The price comparatively is actually a little better, and I can get it in 2 days. Because I'm Amazon Prime, so it's a decision I'm going to have to make. But what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to wrap this up shortly here. I've come to a place where I just can't do anything until we get the parts in. And for right now, thanks for stopping by. This old fiddle, old Fiddles New Life. Boy. This is what comes of being sick as a dog for 3 days, and you don't quite have your brains about you yet. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, Old Fiddles New Life. We'll pick this one up again shortly. I'll do another episode on this just as soon as I get the parts in. In the meantime, kind of excited to have a little quarter-size violin that I'm going to be fixing up for my grandson, and he can use this and get himself started on learning to play the violin.